Why are red wiggler worms essential to composting? You might ask. Well, today we unearth the fascinating world of these small but mighty creatures and how they play a pivotal role in turning kitchen scraps into nutrient-rich compost. Red wiggler worms are nature's very own compost creators. They munch through organic waste, breaking it down into a rich, fertile compost known as worm castings. This compost is a goldmine for gardeners, providing a nutrient-dense supplement for plants. Embarking on the journey of raising red wiggler worms might seem daunting at first, but fear not. With a few simple steps, you too can foster a thriving worm community. First things first, you need a worm bin. This can be any container that is dark, ventilated, and has a lid. Worms are sensitive to light and prefer a dark environment. A bin about 2 feet deep is ideal, providing plenty of space without making the bin too heavy to handle. Now, let's talk about bedding. Worms need a comfortable and moist environment to thrive. Shredded newspaper, cardboard, or coconut coir are great options for bedding material. Avoid using glossy paper or colored ink as they can be harmful to the worms. Once you have your bedding ready, it's time to add the worms. Red wiggler worms are the best choice for vermicomposting. You can purchase them from a local worm farm or online. Start with a pound of worms for every square foot of surface area in your bin. Now that the worms are in the bin, it's important to provide them with a balanced diet. Worms are decomposers and will eat a variety of organic matter. Fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, tea bags, and crushed eggshells are all excellent food choices for worms. Remember to avoid feeding them meat, dairy, oily foods, or anything that can attract pests. It's also important to bury the food scraps under the bedding to prevent odor and fruit flies. Maintaining the moisture level in the bin is crucial for the worm's survival. The bedding should be damp, similar to a wrung-out sponge. If it's too dry, mist it with water. If it's too wet, add more bedding material. Lastly, be patient and observe your worm bin regularly. The worms will do their job of breaking down the organic matter and turning it into nutrient-rich compost. In a few months, you'll have a valuable resource for your garden. So, don't be intimidated by the idea of raising red wiggler worms. With the right setup and care, you can enjoy the benefits of vermicomposting and contribute to a more sustainable lifestyle. Remember, it's all about creating a healthy and happy worm community. Happy worm farming. Next, prepare the bedding. Shredded newspaper or cardboard makes an excellent base. Soak the bedding in water and wring it out so it's as damp as a wrung-out sponge. This provides the worms with the moisture they need. Now, it's time for the fun part, introducing the red wiggler worms to their new home. You can purchase them online or from a local garden store. Carefully add them to the bin and let them burrow into the bedding on their own. Feeding your worms is a crucial part of the process. Worms love fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, tea bags, and crushed eggshells. Avoid feeding them dairy, meat, or oily foods. A handful of food scraps every few days is enough. Remember, overfeeding can lead to odors and pests. Maintaining the right conditions for your worms is key. The worm bin should be kept in a location with a steady temperature, ideally between 50 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Regularly check the moisture level of the bedding, adding water if it's too dry or more bedding if it's too wet. Harvesting your compost is the final step. After about 3 months, you'll notice a rich, dark compost in the bin. To harvest, move the compost to one side of the bin and add fresh bedding and food to the other side. The worms will naturally migrate to the new food source, leaving behind their nutrient-rich castings. To summarize, raising red wiggler worms involves setting up a suitable bin, preparing moist bedding, introducing the worms, feeding them suitable scraps, maintaining ideal conditions, and regularly harvesting the compost. Raising red wiggler worms is a rewarding experience that not only reduces waste but also enriches your garden. The process is simple and the benefits are many, so why not give it a try? Immerse yourself in the world of worms and watch as your garden thrives with the help of these small but mighty compost creators.